Okay, we just got done doing that shakedown run that coincidentally took me and Gas Rats Mark to breakfast and quarantine cruise in beautiful, was that Long Beach, Mark?
That is Long Beach, yes.
Yeah, beautiful Long Beach, California. It was a good time, got to meet a bunch of people, hang out, saw some guys that I know. Bumped into, if you remember, Chip the Truck. It was a coincidentally Crown Vic body swap that I did a long time ago. It was there looking actually really good. And fired me up. So we jumped back in the we jumped back in Project X, jumped on the freeway. The thing is driving just awesomely. Cruised around. I think we were cruising. Our cruising speed was 6,500 or 65 miles an hour at a 2,200? Yeah, about 2,200, 2,300. Nice, cool temperature, cruising right along. The gas mileage, not so good. But honestly, the gas tank is way too small for that project. So we're going to be swapping that out. Speaking of way too small for the project, after seeing Chip the Truck there and just reminiscing about the good old days with the Crown Vic and stuff, we came back and promptly started taking this thing back apart. I just put this together and made it run and drive. There's more than enough here to work with. Feeling good about it. We have already pulled the entire front wiring harness out. It's sitting right there. I just put that in. There is the front bumper with the bumper brackets, otherwise known as the front frame harness of the original truck. So I'll be modifying those a little bit to make them go on and come off a little easier, but they hold it in the perfect spot, which is right in front of the vehicle, using the aftermarket frame harness extenders that I built to hold the front core support on. So that's working out well. Pulled out all the wires, unhooked everything, took the master cylinder off the booster, pulled the cable through, so didn't have to go into the hydraulics. Master cylinder sitting right here. The lines have not been opened. Undid the steering that I spent a little time building last time I was working on this thing to make it run and drive. And I think right now, is Sticks McGann even here? Does that guy even work anymore?
He's retired.
My goodness, I have to find some place to prop this up. Is he there? There he is. You know what? I'm sorry, Sticks. I didn't mean to insinuate you're just hiding over in a corner trying to avoid work. So we're going to snatch this front clip off and probably just stand it right in front of the truck on its back edge right there. So yeah, enjoy. This could be auto repair under the big top. Actually, it's not that difficult. I think it's not so heavy back here. We have long bolts going through the front frame harness. So if you want to grab that side, maybe right at the wheel well and under the headlight. Seems like a good spot. Because I dropped this stuff. So this is on repair. Hold on. Super slam. That bolt is still. Then they're good for the trick. I can handle it. I won't feel bad about it. One iota. Hold on. That's the one. lock it right straight against the hood. Boom, front clip is off. Seems like it really rushed out. Yeah, this is my custom made front purchase. Box in the frame. Not hitting it, man. I must be honest, I'm not hating it. And then we have some monstrous bolts going. Oh, you know what? They're just sitting in there.
Is it just sitting there?
Yeah, there's nothing holding this cab on.
Oh.
Actually, nothing.
These
now.
are new.
Steering wheel's unhooked. Brake pedal's just floating around. I don't think. Is there anything over this side?
I can get my hand.
I think maybe they welded a nut into the frame because mine's just unthreading.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you know what they did do here was they moved the cab back a little bit further than we did before on the other truck. And they built that little perch in the front right there that's slotted. So we can still slide the
You
cab
can still go back and forth.
Yeah. Okay, bolts out. Your bolts out?
Bolts out.
I don't know if there's been any bolts in the back. Ground. Unplug. Let me unsecure this. And then one ground bolt of the 1/2 inch persuasion. Wow. Guess we just barely fit through that eyelet. Okay. Put this on the floor in here. Seat back steering. Alright, so now door goes all the way over there. Okay. So nothing holding the bed on, it's just sitting here right now. We're going to lower the lift, swing the arms in, and use it to pick up the pinch weld on the cab and then push the chassis right out. In theory. So front to back with the pinch weld, right, going right past the little turn in the back. Right on the corner. Should we tell the story? So just in case you see this thing fall, this is what we did. We used the lift 2x4 on the pinch weld. We have clearly scienced the hell out of this.
Clearly, science.
Clearly. All right, so here we go. Contact. Going up. That's the lift, barely brushing against the frame, right? Let's check it here, because it won't be falling. Wow. Man, that's a fabrication area right there. Man, I can't really brag on having a lift, but man, it does make it easy.
Hey, press that button.
Man, I am exhausted. Okay, so now we'll tell the story. This is put together by a gentleman who, well, put it together. And it looks like he had a gasless welder and some metal, and he welded metal with the gasless welder.
You say welded metal?
He mud sticked this thing together like nobody's business. So yeah. Not really.
But what's going on right here?
I don't know. It's when you got all the metal, but you're just coming up a little bit short.
A little short, maybe to work around the brake
Yeah.
lines? Intentional?
So,
No?
well, there's a couple things. Like right here goes right to the top of the frame, but this goes below the top of the frame. But on that side, that goes to the top of the frame, and this side goes below. You know what? It's fine. You know what? You throw it together, you put some shims in it, the body sits kind of level. You get in the streets, and you know what? It did its job. It held everything on here, did its job. But
A for effort, dude.
absolutely A for effort. And then good on you. Nothing but love. This makes it, I hear other thing. On the ground with jack stands in their driveway. I would have never attempted this. But I'm living the good life. I got a little bit of free time. It is Saturday and Sunday. Weekends are for your own buckets. That might be a next shirt.
Ooh,
Weekends are for your buckets.
weekends are for your buckets. I like it.
But literally just a picture of some guy holding buckets from Home Depot. Because that's what you ended up doing. Either way, we're going to change a few things, use some different metal, drill just a few holes in it. And then, but you know what? In theory, it's all good. So either way.
He mapped everything out for you.
He did. He mapped the hell out of it. He scienced the hell out of this thing. That's the original gas tank and the original floor. That's going in the dumpster. This piece on the back is getting cut off, cut square, and then I'll mount everything a little bit lower. It will be cool. But for right now, I think, I think that this will just go for a little spin. Yep, so there's that. I'm gonna box these in, and that way exhaust won't come inside the cabin while we're cruising. Other than that, I'm probably just gonna do some pressure washing. The other thing I'm gonna do too is he spent the time to cut the firewall out of the original police car to put the original AC stuff in here. I'm going to take all this back out and just smooth out the firewall, because the only thing that needs to go through the firewall here are 2 heater hoses and 2 AC lines. And then we'll go to an AC unit that goes under the dash. I'm not gonna use the factory evaporator and all that good stuff. Also, there's some spots here that need a little more attention. Either way, this makes it very easy to do. We'll be taking this master cylinder off, moving it a little bit closer to the left of the cabin, putting it right back on the brake booster. Still gonna use this police car brake booster. And yeah, I'm jazzed on it. It's looking good. Thanks for your help. This was definitely an excellent head start. Appreciate you. Man, I should have backed it in. Now, oh, you know what? I can put it on a, lower it down on furniture dollies and skate this thing around.
Skate around?
Yeah,
Seen that?
yeah. Also, too, is that that's a powder coated frame. I'll be cleaning that up, pressure washing and polishing up that frame. Anyway, that's progress for the day. Now get some furniture dollies and set that cab down on there and spin it around where I can sit comfortably in the light with a cool breeze and the AC on my back. Because that's how I roll. Anyway, let's go get some furniture dollies and lower that thing down. Take it for a spin, literally take it for a spin. See what I did there? Okay, so we're using Go Jacks and 2x4s. That should be more than enough. You taking it for a spin?
Taking for a spin.
Nice. right. Now, we're gonna cut out some firewall, bend up some metal, make it look kind of stock and original, and put it all right back together. Luckily, it looks like I have the guide right there as a reference, that little bin right there. That still exists on this side, so I'm just gonna cut this stuff out and contour this to match that side. Plug up all the holes, don't need any of them. Same thing over here, I'll cut this whole apparatus out. That's original, this is aftermarket. I'm just gonna move this to the other side of the pedal, put it right back in. Basically the brakes, the brake master is, or the brake pedal is a little bit too high and on the right side of the steering column. I'll move it to the other side. That's it. Get some tools out, start making sparks. Be right back. Okay, next day. Hello, sticks. So this is everything I cut out last night, or yesterday. Well, last night, actually. What a mess. So yeah, there was nothing I could save. It's okay. This side over here has to have some sort of structural reinforcement in there because steering column is secured at the bottom right here, and these two holes right here where the brake booster fits. There's an inside bracket and then it's tied into the dash bar, so or the dash reinforcement. So that's some sort of structure right there. But also too is you don't want the firewall bouncing back and forth while you're stomping on it. So I could have cut it all the way to here, flush, but I left this reinforcement stamp in the frame right there, or in the firewall, and this one. And I'm probably gonna end up just doing one pretty thick piece going across right there, as opposed to trying to duplicate all these ridges that they put in stuff. All these are for reinforcement of the firewall, basically. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. You could do it flat with a thicker gauge, but I don't want to get too crazy into this thing. It's not a custom car or anything. I just kind of want it to be safe and fun. So, yeah, most likely, man, it would be pretty easy to duplicate this hole right here. So maybe I'll get some, yeah, I have to give that some thought to see what I'm gonna do there. Oh, you know what? I bet you Auto Metal Direct makes a replacement firewall for this. That would probably be pretty cool, especially if they make a patch panel just for one side. Because that side over there, I can re-zip up. It doesn't really matter. It's just gonna be, you know, kind of come out and go around that little turn right there, and nothing crazy. Over here, it kind of matters. But, I don't know, let me give that some thought. But I'm gonna test fit the inner wheel wells on both sides, clean up that line I cut on the bottom, put it in the brake, snap it over so that it has a little more structure there. It doesn't bounce back and forth while I'm driving. Do both sides, snatch out the core support, and send that stuff out for sandblast and powder coat. Just satin black. And then when that gets back, hopefully I'll be further along on this. But yeah, that's it. Progress on, what am I calling this thing? Whitey Ford. That is a New York Yankees pitcher from 1966. This is 1966 Ford. So I don't know what you were thinking, but Everlast too, Whitey Ford. But Whitey Ford. Because it is white and a Ford. Just saying. Yeah. All right, firewall modified, patch panel over here, reinforcements, pretty thick gauge, Works out great. The plate that bolts on the back of that then has a reinforcement that bolts to the bottom of the dashboard and the bottom of the cowl. So that's gonna be more than steady. This one over here took a little creativity, but I pulled it off. On a side note, I have a visitor over in the other unit. Stubby Bob is here visiting. And I needed to bend a radius, a couple of radiuses, this radius right here and that radius right there. And I was thinking, man, I wish I had one of those tools that you could roll metal. Hold on, Stubby Bob has a roll bar and it has backup drive shafts, hose clamp to it. Guess how far apart they are and guess what the radius is. They are that far apart, and that is the radius of the roll bar and the drive shaft. Thanks, Stubby Bob. Coming in handy. Anyway, after I welded this all together, I then used some panel bond as a seam sealer and painted it over that. When that hardens, I'll be able to just buzz through that with a Scotch-Brite wheel and make it relatively flat. Then I'm just gonna shoot that whole firewall satin black. I dropped off the wheel wells and reinforcement for both sides and the core support to be sandblasted and powder coated satin black. Oh, speaking of satin black, this thing is factory black truck. So it's black and white right now. That goes well with the whole Crown Victoria police car thing. Either way, happy with it. Right now, I'm going to bust out some of my DEI product, the boom mat. I've blown out the whole interior. I'm gonna boom mat from the firewall all the way down and around to the back of the cab. Well, probably right there for that reinforcement. And then, yeah, super happy with that. Just continuing to move forward. I think I might grab a wire wheel and just buzz through in here, knock off all the big stuff. And once again, not building a show car, just building a fun car. So I'm gonna get a wire wheel, I'm gonna buzz through the floor and knock off all the big stuff, and then grab the DEI boom mat and start ironing it in here. There is no rust in here, so that's pretty cool. That was, I think, fuel line right there. And that right there was dual tank. There's a dual tank manual, dual tank switch. See somebody hack something through the floor right there. I'll hammer that flat again. Then really that's about it. I'm gonna leave the reinforcement on the firewall because I'm gonna attach the throttle by wire directly to that. Here's that reinforcement I was talking about right here. That comes from the cowl down. I'll build a little Z bar or Z plate off of the bottom of the dash, dip up, grab that, and then drop down to the reinforcement for the brake pedal assembly. And everything will be more than secure. Considering as conservative as I plan on driving this thing, it doesn't really matter. But that's it. Boom mat, boom, there it is. Okay, there it is, painted firewall that is trim black. I like it. It's a sort of a satin finish, but it's actually a really hard paint. I don't worry about it peeling off. If anything splashes on it, it doesn't necessarily melt. Brake booster installed. It's a little bit further to the left. Steering column is installed, mounted. This little bushing right here goes right up inside of there once I put the lower support on it. Only thing I'm going to change up here, I'm probably going to change the perches that go to the body mounts. Had to slide the cab back. It's sort of cheating the wheel well, the wheelbase. Just a little bit in the back, a little bit in the front. It works fine. Front frame's already been modified, so that's all good. Super happy with that. Also, you know what? Shout out to DEI, the makers of Boom Mat and a bunch of other sound and heat product. They partnered with me on a couple of builds so far. I'm pretty jazzed on their product. I put it in pretty much all of my cars. I did before I partnered with them. I was still using it. In addition to that, I'm going to be using it in the wagon when I put the new floor in that. Auto Metal Direct has sent me a floor for that. I just need to make the time to install it. I use it in my C10. It's in my Chevelle. It's also in the red truck, the Andrew 62. I use it in Project X, love that product. Anyway, there's where the pedal assembly is in reference to the steering column. I'm also gonna do a reinforcement from the dash to the cowl, or front cowl reinforcement, and then drop it down to the pedal assembly right there, lock it in. So sort of a little Z bracket. Other than that, this thing's about ready to go. There's a great tech tip for you while we're here. Those are the back liners for the boom map pieces, and save a few of them. Stick them in the spots that you're gonna be sitting while you're working under the dash. That way, you don't have to spend 15 minutes getting that adhesive off of your fur or your clothes. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you subscribing, liking, and sharing. Stay safe out there. Oh, if you can't stay safe, just don't get caught.